6 months after the Battle of Sol, the galaxy was unrecognizable. The great space station Nexus Prime drifted empty and dark, its alien masters either dead, scattered, or hiding in the deepest corners of space. Where once the Galactic Council had ruled through fear and oppression, now a new power emerged from the small blue world that had been dismissed as primitive and weak. Admiral Tae-ho, now promoted to Fleet Admiral, stood on the observation deck of the first new Indomitable-class battleship to roll out of Earth's expanded shipyards. Through the transparent aluminum windows, he could see 11 more identical vessels taking shape in the orbital construction bays. Each ship represented the pinnacle of human achievement, a perfect fusion of alien technology and human innovation. Construction is ahead of schedule on all fronts, reported Chief Engineer Won-sik as he joined the Fleet Admiral. The new automated systems are working beyond our best projections. We will have 24 Indomitable-class ships within the year. Tae-ho nodded, watching as robotic systems assembled hull plates that were stronger than anything the old council had ever produced. Humanity had not just captured alien technology, they had improved it in ways its original creators never imagined possible. Any word from our diplomatic missions? He asked. Won-sik smiled. Ambassador Yunji reports that 17 former council worlds have formally requested membership in the Terran hegemony. The Zilani system wants our protection from pirate raids. The Morvac colonies are asking for help rebuilding their destroyed cities. It was a strange irony. The same alien species that had once served the Council now came to humanity begging for the protection and freedom that Earth offered. The galaxy had learned that strength without tyranny was possible, and they wanted to be part of it. President Park Sung-min appeared on the communication screen, broadcasting live from the newly constructed Galactic Assembly Building in orbit around Earth. Behind him, representatives from dozens of alien species sat in chambers designed for beings of every size and atmospheric requirement. Today marks the formal establishment of the Terran hegemony, he announced to the galaxy. Unlike the old council, we do not demand submission or tribute. We offer partnership, protection, and the freedom to grow and prosper according to each species' own nature and desires. The camera panned across the assembled delegates, former slaves who now sat as equals, refugees from destroyed worlds who had found new homes, and even some former council species who had renounced their old ways and embraced the human vision of galactic civilization. Our principles are simple, Park Sung-min continued. No species has the right to enslave another. No civilization may commit genocide or destroy worlds for conquest. All beings have the right to explore, learn, and grow according to their own potential. Those who embrace these principles will find Earth as their strongest ally. Those who reject them will face the consequences of their choices. On the bridge of the UES Indomitable, Captain Minho monitored reports from across the galaxy. The ship now served as the flagship of the Terran patrol fleet, its mere presence enough to deter any thoughts of rebellion or aggression. Patrol Squadron Alpha reports successful completion of humanitarian mission to the Zerion system, he told Admiral Tae-ho. The refugees from the Council's slave camps have been successfully relocated to new worlds. Medical teams report that most of the psychological damage can be healed with time and proper care. Dr. Yunji looked up from her science station, where she was reviewing requests for technological assistance from various worlds. The Belgari have asked for help developing clean energy systems. The Threnodi want medical technology to treat radiation poisoning from their damaged homeworld. The Kalani need agricultural assistance after the Council destroyed their food production facilities. Approved, Tae-ho said without hesitation. Prepare aid packages for all three systems. Make sure they understand that this assistance comes with no strings attached. We are not the Council. This was perhaps the most radical change of all. Where the Council had hoarded technology and used it as a tool of control, humanity shared freely with any species that requested help. Human medical advances saved billions of lives across the galaxy. Human agricultural techniques turned dead worlds into gardens. Human engineering rebuilt civilizations that the Council had left in ruins. But the galaxy also learned that human generosity had limits. Captain So-young led a strike force to the Dark Star Nebula, where remnants of the old Council military had established pirate bases. Her fighters moved through the asteroid field like avenging angels, their exotic weapons making short work of any ship that preyed on innocent traders. Pirate Base Omega has been eliminated, she reported to Fleet Command. All captured slaves have been freed and are receiving medical attention. The pirates themselves, she paused. There were no survivors. They chose to fight rather than surrender. It was a harsh lesson that the galaxy learned quickly. The Terran hegemony would protect the weak and innocent with infinite compassion, but they showed no mercy to those who chose tyranny and oppression. Former council species that tried to maintain their old ways of conquest and slavery simply vanished. Their worlds left empty and clean for other species to inhabit. Ambassador Yunji established the new diplomatic protocols from her headquarters on the rebuilt Nexus Prime Station. Unlike the Council's demands for tribute and submission, the hegemony's requirements were simple: respect for sentient life, commitment to peaceful development, and willingness to help defend other member worlds from aggression. We have received formal surrender documents from the last 3 Council holdout systems, she reported to Earth Command. The Vorthak crystal clans have agreed to abandon their slave mining operations. The Nethros Collective has released all captured energy beings. The remaining Quillen Hive ships have withdrawn to their home system and promised to limit themselves to defensive operations only. Jin Wu, now released from his former prison and serving as the hegemony's special advisor on former council affairs, reviewed the surrender documents with satisfaction. It is amazing how quickly they learned to cooperate once they realized that resistance meant extinction. The transformation was not just political, but moral. Species that had practiced slavery for thousands of years suddenly discovered the benefits of free labor and voluntary cooperation. Civilizations that had expanded through conquest learned that trade and mutual assistance produced far better results than war and oppression. Dr. Jae Hyun, now head of the hegemony's scientific exchange program, coordinated research projects involving dozens of different species. The collaborative research programs are producing results beyond our wildest dreams, he reported. When you combine human adaptability with Zilani mathematical precision and Morvac energy manipulation techniques, the possibilities are limitless. Indeed, the galaxy was entering a new golden age of discovery and development. Worlds that had stagnated under council rule for millennia suddenly bloomed with innovation and growth. Technologies that had been suppressed or hoarded were shared freely, leading to advances that benefited everyone. But through it all, the shadow of the Indomitable class ship served as a reminder of what happened to those who threatened this new order. The Terran fleet patrolled the galaxy with quiet efficiency, their quantum sensors detecting any sign of aggressive military buildup or slave-taking operations. Fleet Admiral Tejo made a final log entry as he prepared for another patrol mission to the Outer Rim territories. The Council ruled through fear for 3,000 years, and they fell in a single day because they never understood that true strength comes not from oppression, but from the willingness to protect others. They saw our small numbers and thought we were weak. They saw our short history and thought we were naive. They never realized that evolution favors not the largest or the oldest, but the most adaptable. He looked out at the stars where his fleet waited, ready to defend freedom wherever it was threatened. Humanity did not seek to rule the galaxy. We never wanted to be conquerors or tyrants, but when forced to choose between submission and resistance, we chose to become something greater than either. We became guardians. We became protectors. We became the shield that stands between the innocent and those who would destroy them. The UES Indomitable and her sister ships moved out toward the Galactic Rim, their quantum engines bending space and time around them. Where once alien fleets had brought terror and submission, now human ships brought hope and justice. The galaxy had fallen silent in terror when Earth's battleship arrived. But from that silence, a new age of freedom and prosperity had begun, and in the depths of space, the Indomitable continued its eternal watch, making sure that the dark age of oppression would never return. News of the disaster traveled faster than light across the galaxy. On 1,000 worlds, alien civilizations watched their communication screens in stunned silence as reports flooded in from the Sol system. The mighty Galactic Council fleet, 50,000 of the most advanced warships ever built, was being systematically destroyed by a single human vessel. Dr. Rixtaler, the Council's chief xenobiologist, stood in his laboratory on Nexus Prime, analyzing battle footage with hands that trembled from shock. His 3 eyes stared at the data streams in disbelief. Around him, holographic displays showed the impossible destruction in perfect detail. "This cannot be real," he whispered to his assistant. Their technology violates every known principle of physics. They are using quantum mechanics as a weapon, manipulating dimensions like they were simple tools, creating exotic matter as easily as we create light. The footage showed the human ship appearing and disappearing at will, its weapons erasing entire squadrons from existence. Each shot was perfectly calculated, each maneuver executed with flawless precision. The aliens had never seen anything like it in 3,000 years of galactic warfare. "How long until our fleet is completely destroyed?" Ricksteller asked. His assistant checked the battle computer's projections. "At current loss rates, total annihilation in 4 hours and 37 minutes. The human ship shows no signs of damage or fatigue. If anything, it appears to be getting stronger." Meanwhile, in the Sol system, the UES Indomitable continued its methodical hunt. The alien fleet had broken formation and scattered across the outer planets, hoping to make targeting more difficult. But the human ship's quantum sensors could track individual vessels across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Admiral Tejo studied the tactical display with satisfaction. His crew had performed flawlessly, their cybernetic enhancements allowing them to operate the ship's advanced systems with perfect coordination. Every human on board was connected to the vessel's quantum computers, their minds working together like a single massive brain. "Status report," he requested calmly. Lieutenant Commander Bo-Ra looked up from her weapons console. 32,000 enemy vessels destroyed. Quantum displacement cannons operating at peak efficiency. Exotic matter reserves holding steady at 85%. Commander Hyunsik reported from navigation. "The remaining enemy ships are attempting to reach the edge of the system. Their fastest vessels will reach the hyperspace jump point in approximately 2 hours. They will not escape," Tejo said quietly. "Dr. Jae-hyun, activate the dimensional interdiction field." The ship's chief physicist nodded and began working at his console. The Indomitable's most secret weapon came online, a device that could lock down space-time itself, preventing any ship from entering hyperspace within a radius of several light hours. Across the system, alien ships that had almost reached safety suddenly found their jump engines failing. The space around them had become solid, refusing to allow the dimensional tiers that faster-than-light travel required. They were trapped with no hope of escape. Captain So-young coordinated her fighter squadrons as they hunted down fleeing enemy vessels. The human pilots moved with inhuman precision, their neural interfaces allowing them to process information and react faster than any organic brain could manage. Each fighter was also equipped with miniaturized versions of the Indomitable's exotic weapons. "Squadron 7 has eliminated the Quillen command cluster," she reported. "Squadron 12 is engaging Vorthak crystal ships near Neptune. All pilots report 0 casualties." The human fighters were not just faster and more maneuverable than their alien counterparts, they were completely invulnerable to conventional weapons. Their kinetic barriers could deflect any projectile, while their energy shields absorbed directed energy attacks and converted them into additional power for their own systems. Chief Engineer Wunsik monitored the ship's remarkable power systems from deep within the Indomitable's hull. The vessel's reactor core was a hybrid of human and alien technology, improved far beyond what either species could achieve alone. It produced energy by manipulating the quantum vacuum itself, drawing power from the fundamental forces of the universe. "Reactor output still holding at 400% of theoretical maximum," he reported. "The quantum extraction systems are actually becoming more efficient as we use them. We could maintain this level of combat operations indefinitely." The ship's manufacturing bays, overseen by Engineering Chief Dongwoo, were producing additional weapons and fighters even during the battle. The Indomitable was not just a warship, it was a mobile factory that could create whatever tools it needed for victory. "Production lines operating at full capacity," Dongwoo reported. "We are manufacturing replacement fighters faster than we can deploy them. Ammunition reserves are actually increasing despite continuous combat." On Nexus Prime, panic spread through the council chambers like a virus. The most powerful beings in the galaxy watched helplessly as their ultimate fleet was dismantled piece by piece. Speaker Tisakalar's crystal body had turned completely black with terror. While other council members fled the station entirely, Jinwoo remained in his prison cell, but now his alien guards treated him with fearful respect. They had heard the reports from the battle zone, and they understood that this human represented something far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. "How?" Speaker Tiskalar demanded. when he finally came to visit the human prisoner. Your species was primitive. You had basic fusion engines and kinetic weapons. How do you possess technology that surpasses our greatest scientists? Jinwoo looked at the alien leader with calm eyes. You never understood what makes humans different. You saw our short history and thought we were inexperienced. You saw our small numbers and thought we were weak. But you missed the most important thing about us. What thing? Thysikalar's voice cracked with desperation. We learn, Jinwoo said simply. Every challenge makes us stronger. Every problem teaches us something new. Every enemy shows us possibilities we never considered before. You gave us 3 centuries to study your technology, your tactics, your weaknesses. You showed us exactly what we needed to become to defeat you. The alien's crystal form flickered with confusion. But the laws of physics are suggestions, not absolute rules, Jinwoo interrupted. You accepted limitations because your species stopped growing thousands of years ago. You became comfortable with your power and stopped pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Humans never stopped pushing boundaries. Back in the Sol system, the battle was entering its final phase. Less than 8,000 alien ships remained, and they were scattered across the outer planets with no hope of escape or victory. The Indomitable moved among them like death itself, its weapons erasing ship after ship from existence. Admiral Taeho opened a communication channel to the entire galaxy, broadcasting on every frequency that alien civilizations used. His voice was calm but carried the weight of absolute authority. This is Admiral Taeho of the United Earthship Indomitable. For 300 years, the Galactic Council has ruled through fear, oppression, and genocide. They have enslaved peaceful worlds, destroyed entire civilizations, and claimed the right to decide who lives and who dies. The transmission reached every corner of the galaxy, carried by the same networks the Council used to spread their propaganda. Today, that era ends. The Council fleet that came to destroy humanity has been eliminated. Their reign of terror is over. Any species that continues to serve the Council's tyranny will share their fate. Any world that embraces freedom and peace will find Earth as their protector and ally. He paused as another group of alien ships vanished under his weapons' fire. The galaxy has a new guardian now. We will not rule through fear like the Council did. We will not demand tribute or enslave the weak. But we will never again allow tyrants to threaten innocent civilizations. This is humanity's promise to the galaxy. Justice will be served, freedom will be protected, and the age of oppression is over forever. The communication ended, leaving the galaxy in stunned silence. On 1,000 worlds, enslaved populations looked up at the stars with hope for the first time in centuries. The impossible had happened. The Council's power had been broken by a species they had dismissed as primitive and weak. The UES Indomitable continued its work, hunting down the last remnants of the alien fleet. But the battle was already over. The galaxy would never be the same again. The first shots of the war lit up space like deadly fireworks. The alien fleet opened fire on Earth's orbital defenses, their energy beams and kinetic projectiles tearing through metal and ceramic like paper. Human defense platforms exploded in brilliant flashes, their debris raining down toward the planet's atmosphere. Admiral Kethamore watched the destruction from his command deck with satisfaction. The human ships that rose to meet his fleet were brave but hopeless. Their primitive weapons barely scratched his armored hulls, while his return fire cut through them like a blade through smoke. Pathetic, he clicked to his officers. Their largest battleship has the firepower of one of our escort frigates. This will be over in minutes. But even as he spoke, something new appeared on his sensors. A single ship emerged from behind Jupiter, its hull gleaming with a strange inner light. It was roughly the same size as a human battleship, but something about it made Kethmore's compound eyes narrow with unease. "What is that vessel?" he demanded. His sensor officer studied the readings and shook his head in confusion. "Unknown design, Admiral. It does not match any ship in our databases. The energy signatures are unusual." Commander Velthera materialized beside them, her energy form flickering with concern. "I am detecting quantum fluctuations around that ship. The space near it appears to be bending." Kethmore laughed, but the sound was less confident than before. "One ship against our entire fleet? Have the humans lost their minds completely?" The UES Indomitable accelerated toward the alien formation with impossible speed. Its quantum engines folded space around it, allowing it to cross vast distances in seconds. But more unsettling than its speed was its silence. It approached without any communication, without any demands for surrender, without any of the usual pre-battle posturing that most species engaged in. On the Indomitable's bridge, Admiral Tejo watched the enemy fleet with calm eyes. Around him, his crew worked with the enhanced precision that only cybernetic interfaces could provide. Every human on the ship was connected to the vessel's quantum computers, their thoughts moving at the speed of light through fiber optic networks. "Target acquisition complete," reported Lieutenant Commander Bora from the weapons station. 50,000 enemy ships identified and classified. Threat assessment complete. Engagement parameters loaded. All enemy vessels are within range of our primary weapons, added Captain So-Young from Tactical. Fighter squadrons are ready for deployment. Tejo nodded once. Fire. The Indomitable opened fire, and the galaxy changed forever. The quantum displacement cannons did not simply shoot projectiles or energy beams. They erased portions of reality itself, creating expanding spheres of absolute nothingness that consumed everything they touched. Where the spheres passed, enemy ships did not explode or break apart. They simply ceased to exist as if they had never been built at all. An entire squadron of Vorthak crystal ships vanished in the first salvo. One moment they were there, their crystalline hulls gleaming in the starlight. The next moment there was only empty space where they had been. Impossible, Kethmore's voice cracked with shock. What kind of weapon was that? His sensor officers stared at their instruments in disbelief. Admiral, those ships are not destroyed, they are gone. Completely gone. There is no debris, no energy signature, no trace that they ever existed. The alien fleet tried to respond with conventional weapons, but their attacks simply passed through empty space where the human ship had been. The Indomitable was using its dimensional phase engines to shift partially out of normal space-time, making it nearly impossible to target. Commander Velthera watched in horror as her energy beings were disrupted by the human ship's exotic matter weapons. These weapons did not destroy her people. They unraveled the quantum bonds that held their energy forms together, leaving nothing but scattered particles drifting in the void. "This is not possible," she screamed, her form flickering with panic. "They are using technologies that should not exist." "Our scientists said such weapons were theoretically impossible," Chief Engineer Wansik reported from the Indomitable's engine room. "Reactor output holding steady at 400% of theoretical maximum. All systems operating within normal parameters. No signs of stress or overheating." The human ship moved through the alien formation like a shark through a school of fish. Its reality-bending engines allowed it to appear anywhere in the battle space without warning, materializing behind enemy ships and unleashing devastating attacks before phasing away again. Dr. Yunji monitored the ship's exotic systems from her science station. Quantum displacement cannons are cycling normally. Exotic matter generators are producing stable particles. All weapon systems are performing beyond original specifications. Captain Minho coordinated the ship's defensive systems as enemy fire tried desperately to find its target. Kinetic barriers are deflecting all incoming projectiles. Energy shields are absorbing directed energy weapons with 98% efficiency. Hull integrity is at 100%. The alien commanders tried to surround the lone human ship, but the Indomitable was everywhere and nowhere at once. It would appear in the center of their formation, destroy dozens of ships, then vanish before their weapons could lock on. When they tried to predict its movements, it would suddenly emerge from a completely different direction. Captain So-Young launched her fighter squadrons, but these were not ordinary human pilots. Each fighter was crewed by humans whose nervous systems had been enhanced with quantum interfaces, allowing them to think and react faster than any biological brain could manage. They moved through the alien formations with supernatural precision, their exotic weapons cutting through enemy hulls like hot knives through butter. Within the first hour of battle, the alien fleet had lost 10,000 ships. The survivors began to retreat, but the Indomitable pursued them relentlessly. Its quantum sensors could track enemy vessels across multiple dimensions, making escape impossible. "How many ships have we lost?" Kethmore demanded, his voice shaking with disbelief. 12,000 destroyed, Admiral, his tactical officer reported. "Another 3,000 have lost primary systems. The human ship appears to be completely undamaged. Withdraw the fleet," Kethmore ordered. "Full retreat to the outer system." But retreat was not an option. The Indomitable's quantum displacement cannons had a range measured in light minutes, and every shot was perfectly targeted by the ship's AI-assisted fire control systems. Enemy vessels that tried to flee simply vanished one by one, erased from existence by weapons that violated every known law of physics. Commander Velthara attempted to send a surrender signal to the human ship, but there was no response. The Indomitable was not interested in accepting surrender. It had come to deliver a message, and that message was written in the total destruction of the Council's fleet. Admiral Te-Ho opened a communication channel to the surviving alien commanders. His voice was calm and cold as winter space. For 300 years you have ruled this galaxy through fear and oppression. You have enslaved worlds, committed genocide, and destroyed countless civilizations. You came to our system thinking you could do the same to us. He paused, watching as another group of alien ships vanished under his weapons fire. You made one critical error. You assumed that because we were young, we were weak. You thought that because we were small, we were helpless. You believed that because you had never seen our true capabilities, they did not exist. The alien fleet continued to die around him. Ship after ship erased from reality by weapons that should have been impossible. Today, you learn what happens when you threaten humanity. Today you discover why evolution favors not the largest or the oldest, but the most adaptable. Today your reign of terror ends. The communication channel went silent, leaving only the sound of dying ships and the screams of alien commanders who finally understood that they had awakened something terrible and unstoppable. The battle was not even half over, but already the galaxy would never be the same. The edge of the Sol system looked like a metal storm had frozen in space. 50,000 alien warships hung in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming in the distant light of Earth's sun. It was the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history, stretching across millions of kilometers like a steel wall of death. Admiral Kethmore stood on the command deck of his flagship, the World Ender. The massive Quillen dreadnought was 15 kilometers long and packed with enough firepower to crack a planet in half. Its black hull was covered in weapon ports and sensor arrays, making it look like a giant space-going predator. Status report. Kethmore clicked in his insect language, his forearms moving across different control panels at once. All ships report ready for battle, his second-in-command replied. The Vorthak crystal ships have charged their energy weapons. The Nethros energy fleet has synchronized their power grids. Our own kinetic cannons are loaded and targeted. Kethmore's compound eyes studied the tactical display. The human solar system looked pathetically small and weak compared to their massive fleet. Earth's defenses consisted of a few hundred small warships, some orbital platforms, and what appeared to be mining stations around the outer planets. Commander Velthara materialized on the bridge, her energy form crackling with anticipation. My intelligence units have completed their final scans of human technology. They use primitive chemical rockets and basic fusion engines. Their weapons are simple kinetic projectiles and low-power lasers. Their largest warship is barely 2 kilometers long. How disappointing, Kethmore said, his mandibles clicking with amusement. I was hoping for at least some entertainment before we finish them off. The fleet began its advance into the solar system. Ship after ship passed the orbital line of Pluto, their engines lighting up space like a swarm of deadly stars. The formation was perfect, tested in hundreds of battles against rebellious worlds. Nothing had ever survived their combined assault. On Earth, emergency broadcasts filled every communication channel. President Park Sung-min appeared on screens around the world, his face calm but determined. Behind him, the lights of Earth's greatest cities twinkled in the darkness. My fellow humans, he began, his voice steady and strong. Today we face a choice that no species should ever have to make. We can surrender our freedom and become slaves to alien masters, or we can fight for our right to exist as free beings. In the streets of Seoul, millions of people looked up at the night sky where distant points of light marked the approaching alien fleet. In New York, London, and every other major city, humans gathered to hear their leaders' words. They demand that we give up our dreams of exploring the stars. They want us to stop learning and growing and becoming more than we are. They think that because they are older and more numerous, they have the right to decide our fate. Park Sung-min's eyes hardened. They are wrong. Far away on Nexus Prime, Jin-Woo watched the same broadcast from his prison cell. The aliens had given him a front-row seat to watch his species' extinction. They wanted him to see Earth burn and know that his defiance had caused it. But Jin-Woo was not afraid. He had been a soldier before becoming a diplomat, and he knew that appearances could be deceiving. The aliens saw only what humans wanted them to see, Their public military, their commercial ships, their civilian technology. They had no idea what lay hidden in the shadows beyond Jupiter. Back in the Sol system, the alien fleet had reached Mars orbit. Their sensors swept across the red planet, cataloging human mining operations and research stations. Everything looked exactly as their intelligence reports had predicted, a young species with basic technology and limited defenses. Begin the final approach to Earth, Admiral Kethmore ordered. All ships prepare for orbital bombardment. We will destroy their military installations first, then their major cities. Leave enough alive to serve as an example to other rebellious worlds. The massive fleet accelerated toward the blue-green world that hung like a jewel in the darkness. Energy weapons charged with deadly light. Kinetic cannons loaded projectiles that could punch through a moon. Missile tubes prepared to rain death from the vacuum of space. But hidden behind Jupiter's massive bulk, something watched and waited. The UES Indomitable drifted in the shadow of the giant planet, its hull completely invisible to alien sensors. The ship was unlike anything that had ever been built before. A fusion of human ingenuity and alien technology stolen from crashed ships and captured databases. Admiral Tejo stood quietly on the bridge, watching the enemy fleet approach his home world. Around him, his crew worked with calm efficiency. These were not ordinary humans. They were the best and brightest Earth had to offer, enhanced with cybernetic implants and neural interfaces that let them think and react faster than any organic being. Enemy fleet will reach Earth orbit in 6 hours, reported Commander Hyun-sik from the navigation station. They are maintaining standard formation. Heavy ships in the center, escort vessels on the flanks, command ships in the rear. Predictable, Tejo said. They have used the same tactics for 3 centuries because they always win. They have never faced an enemy that could adapt and improvise. Dr. Yunji looked up from her science console. All weapon systems are green. The quantum displacement cannons are fully charged. Dimensional phase engines are ready for combat maneuvers. Our exotic matter reserves are at maximum capacity. How long have we been preparing for this day? Asked Captain Minho. 50 years, Tejo replied. Ever since our first contact with alien technology. Every crashed ship we recovered. Every captured database we decoded. Every failed diplomatic mission. It all led to this moment. The Indomitable was humanity's greatest secret, and their last hope. While the aliens had been content to rule through fear and superior numbers, humans had been learning and adapting and innovating. They had taken alien technology and improved it in ways its original creators never imagined possible. Chief Engineer Won-sik reported from the engine room. Reactor core is stable at 400% of theoretical maximum output. The human hybrid power systems are operating beyond all projected parameters. We are ready for combat, sir. Tejo nodded and activated the ship-wide communication system. Attention all hands. This is your admiral speaking. Today we fight not just for Earth, but for the future of human civilization. The aliens believe they can destroy us because we are young and small and apparently weak. They are about to learn that evolution favors not the largest or the oldest, but the most adaptable. He paused, looking out at the stars where his enemies approached. They have given us the greatest gift possible. They have underestimated us completely. They see our numbers and think we are few. They see our history and think we are inexperienced. They see our technology and think we are primitive. The bridge crew smiled grimly as they listened to their commander's words. In a few hours, they will learn what humans really are. We are not the strongest species in the galaxy. We are not the smartest or the most advanced. But we are something they have never encountered before. We are the most dangerous. Tejo's voice became hard as steel. Prepare for battle. Let's show these aliens why threatening humanity is the last mistake they will ever make. The Indomitable began to move, its revolutionary engines bending space and time around it. One ship against 50,000, but the aliens had no idea what was coming for them. The massive space station called Nexus Prime floated in the darkness between stars. It was bigger than most moons and home to the Galactic Council. Inside its metal halls, 300 alien races had gathered for an emergency meeting. The air was thick with tension and the smell of different alien atmospheres mixing together. Jin Woo sat alone in the center of the great chamber. He was the only human in a room full of creatures that wanted his species dead. His hands were chained, but his back was straight and his eyes showed no fear. He had been a soldier before becoming Earth's diplomat, and soldiers did not break easily. Around him, the most powerful beings in the galaxy whispered in their strange languages. The Vorthek looked like living crystals that changed color when they spoke. The Quillen were giant insects with razor-sharp claws and black eyes. The Nethros had no solid bodies at all. They were pure energy trapped in special containers. Speaker Thissikalar rose from his crystal throne. His body glowed bright red with anger. When he spoke, his voice sounded like breaking glass. "Human Jinwu of the planet Earth, you stand accused of crimes against galactic peace. Your species refuses to follow council law. You build weapons without permission. You explore space without asking us first." Jinwu looked up at the alien leader. "My people have the right to defend themselves. We never attacked anyone. We just want to be left alone." A wave of angry sounds filled the chamber. The aliens did not like his answer. They were used to weaker species begging for mercy. Left alone. Thissikalar's crystal body turned dark purple. No species is left alone. All must serve the council. For 300 years we have brought order to this galaxy. We decide who lives and who dies. We decide who can travel between stars and who must stay on their home planet. Commander Velthara of the Nethros floated forward. Her energy form sparkled like lightning. "The humans are dangerous. In only 50 years they have gone from simple metal rockets to ships that can cross star systems. They learn too fast. They adapt too quickly. If we let them continue, they might become a threat to our rule." Admiral Kethmore of the Quillen clicked his mandibles together, making a sound like breaking bones. "My scouts have watched their planet. They have united their entire world under one government. They build factories in space. They mine asteroids for metal. No other species has done this so quickly after discovering space travel." Jinwu listened to their words and felt cold inside. These aliens saw his people as animals that needed to be put in cages. They could not understand that humans just wanted to grow and explore and learn new things. "Your species will submit," Thissikalar declared. "You have 72 standard hours to surrender all your weapons and technology. You will accept council governors on your planet. You will stop all space exploration. You will limit your population to exactly 1 billion beings. If you refuse, we will destroy every human in existence." The chamber fell silent. Even the background hum of the station's machines seemed to stop. This was not just a threat, it was a promise of genocide. Jinwu stood up slowly. His chains made soft clinking sounds in the quiet room. "I will take your message to my government. But you should know something about humans before you make this mistake." "Mistake?" Thissikalar laughed, a sound like crystal bells breaking. "We have assembled the largest war fleet in galactic history. Over 50,000 ships wait at the edge of your solar system. Your entire species has maybe 200 small warships. What mistake could we possibly make?" Jinwu's eyes were calm and steady. "The mistake of thinking you understand us. You see our small numbers and think we are weak. You see our short history in space and think we are children, but you have never seen what humans become when someone threatens our families and our home." He looked around the chamber at all the alien faces staring at him. Some showed amusement, others showed hunger for the coming destruction. None showed fear, and that was their first mistake. "We have crushed 1,000 rebellious worlds," Admiral Kethmore said. "What makes your species special?" "Nothing," Jinwu replied quietly. "And everything. We are not the strongest or the smartest or the oldest, but we are the most stubborn. When you push us, we push back harder. When you try to break us, we become stronger. When you threaten to destroy us, we find ways to destroy you first." The aliens laughed and made their version of mocking sounds. They had heard such brave words from many doomed species before. But somewhere far away in the Sol system, Jinwu's words were already being proven true. Admiral Tejo stood on the bridge of the UES Indomitable, reading the message that had just arrived from Nexus Prime. Around him, his crew worked at stations filled with technology that no alien had ever seen. "So they finally made their move," Tejo said to his second-in-command, Captain Minho. 50,000 ships. They really want to make sure we stay dead." Minho looked at the tactical display showing the massive alien fleet gathering at the edge of their solar system. "Will it be enough, sir? 50,000 against one?" Tejo smiled grimly. "They think in terms of numbers and size. We think in terms of possibilities and innovation. They have been the same for thousands of years. We have been growing and changing and improving for every single day of our existence." Dr. Yunji looked up from her science station. "All systems are ready, Admiral. The quantum displacement cannons are charged. The dimensional phase engines are stable. The exotic matter generators are operating at full capacity. And our crew? Tejo asked. 30,000 of the best humans Earth has ever produced, Captain So Young reported from the fighter command station. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, pilots, all volunteers, all ready to show these aliens what happens when you threaten humanity. Tejo nodded and looked out at the stars. Somewhere among them, Jinwoo was facing down the entire Galactic Council with nothing but words and courage. Soon it would be time for stronger arguments. Prepare for departure, he ordered. Let's go show our enemies what real terror looks like. The Indomitable began to move, its revolutionary engines bending space and time around it. The galaxy was about to learn that threatening humanity was the last mistake many species would ever make.